So instead of us going to the doctors are coming to us. I think it's a great thing. They were at Waimate, for instance, and there was about 50-odd people went and got a free health check at Waimate, and apparently 32% of those 50 people needed to address a health issue or two. So that's pretty high, and it just shows that, you know, despite how busy and how fit we think we are, there could be a lot of underlying problems going on there. So Dr. Sue's out there in that caravan.
So welcome back, and yeah, it's full on again, Digger. They've just finished the TUI invitation, which was a great encouragement award, and now we're getting into the heavy duty stuff, really. So this is the PGG Rights and Wool National Circuit Shearing semi-final. Talk to us a little bit about this, Digger.
Oh, this is the big boys again, and this is the multi-breeds event where over the season the boys have shorn at Alexandra, done the merinos down there. Waimate, they do the long wool crossbreds. Christchurch, Corridales, or half-breeds. And in Martin, they did the lambs, and in Paiatua on the weekend, the second shear. And we've found the top 12 qualifiers, and they've come here together at Masterton. And we've got a top 12 shootout.
Yeah, so top 12 shootout. So, you know, this is quite a complex event. We've got, as Digger said, we've pulled together the merinos, and we want to just really shout out to Alan Patterson from the South Island, who religiously every year farms these merinos, especially for the Golden Shears and for New Zealand Shears, for just this type of event, doesn't he?
Oh, he does, Mavis. Does a magnificent job, and yeah, especially farms the sheep and then trucks them up here to Masterton. And, you know, many people have told me that you're not a shearer unless you can shear merinos properly. So we're going to find out who the best shearer in New Zealand is, really.
That's pretty...
with this event.
Pretty much, that's exactly it. And then White Spurs locally provide us with the full wool, and Ngā Tāhuna with the second shear. So, you know, we've got multiple wools, multiple disciplines. Talk to us, Dig, a bit then about the gear. You know, you've got these three totally different kind of wool types.
Yeah, well, they're allowed three handpieces up there, so they'll have a comb on for the merinos, and then they'll have a comb on for the full wool and a comb on for the lambs. And then tonight, the top six, it gets even trickier because you've got to shear some half-breeds as well. So they'll... you know, they've got to get a comb which is done to probably shear the full wool and the half-breeds as well, and then a comb which is done to shear the second shear and the lambs. So it's, yeah, it really takes a little bit to work your gear out for these events.
Yeah, yeah. So this is kind of like the super triathlon, multi-sporty kind of section of shearing, isn't it?
This is the Ironman.
This is the Ironman of shearing. So, Digger, this first heat, do you want to just take us through? Who have we got? Who can we look forward to following in this heat?
Well, we've got the defending champ on stand 4, Wairarapa Abraham from Masterton.
He's actually from Dannevirke, but we'll say Masterton.
But anyway,
he lives here.
Jack Fagan's on stand 1, Aaron Haynes on 2, Hemi Braddock 3, Wairarapa on 4, Angus Moore, he's a former champion, he's on stand 5, and Nathan Stratford from Invercargill. Nathan's a former winner of this event too. Yeah,
Nathan can't ever discount him. So we're starting here on stand number 1 with Jack Fagan. So he's done well to come through all the way to the PGG. Has he done this before?
He has. He didn't do it last year. He was over in Australia, so he missed some of the qualifying events. But he's been doing it this year, and he's qualified really high up. He got good points at Alex and good points at Paiatua the other day. And he's shorn enough merinos to be able to get around them pretty well.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. Like a lot of these boys, they won't have shorn a lot of merinos, some of them. But Jack's done enough.
He's really multi-talented, actually, Jack, with these sheep breeds, isn't he? You know, I mean, he's see him up in Europe, and he whizzes over those as well. Oh,
he's shearing all around the world, and probably, I would say, of all the shearers, he's shearing the most breeds of anyone. Yeah, he's been France, Italy, and all around the UK.
Yeah.
And there's so many different breeds over there, and he's getting the experience, and hopefully it's going to pay off one day.
Yeah, I'm sure it will for him. I'm sure it will.
But and he's probably getting, he's got a pretty good teacher.
Now, who would that be? Would that be Sir?
It could well be. Yep. Now we move on to Aaron Haynes, the boy from Fielding. Aaron's, I think he's done quite a few merinos as well, worked over in Australia. Very, very clean shearer. And the thing is, you've got to be up with the pace on these merinos. You don't want to be bogged down. And then when you've still got a merino and the boys will start hitting their second shear.
That'd be pretty demoralising, I'd say.
Yeah, well, if you've got a half a merino left, they're going to shear at least one crossbred.
Yeah.
So you're going to be even further behind.
He's a lovely shearer, Aaron, and he certainly applies himself well. And again, I remember when we were competing in Young Farmers, God, I hate it when people say back in my day, but his dad was also a pretty smart shearer back in those YFC days. Hemi Braddock, another one of the Braddocks.
Yeah, great to see young Hemi in there. As I said earlier, he's a pretty talented shearer, this boy, and got a big future. Great to see him chasing the PGG. You've got to go all around New Zealand, chase the shows to gain enough points to qualify.
Yeah, and we just saw his brother Ruka step up into the senior finals later on.
Yeah, so the old pub out at Ekatahuna, if there's still a little pub out there, it'll be going off this afternoon.
Oh, there's a big community at Ekatahuna, a big community, and Pairata.
Yeah, the defending champ, Wairarapa, he surprised a lot of people last year. He won this event, so he'll be desperately trying to defend his title. You can just see him going up the neck there, working up there, trying to keep out of the wrinkles.
Yeah. He's done well, Pairata, and of course married to Kushla of the Gordon family. I mean, it's a bit of a dynasty kind of, isn't it?
Yeah, and contracting down here in Masterton and around the Wairarapa, and got his father-in-law Nookie helping out as well. And Pairata said Nookie's been doing a lot of gear for the boys, and great to see.
Yeah,
and,
very cool.
Looking after all the young boys.
Yep. Angus Moore. It's lovely to see him back up here because I haven't seen him for a few years here, I don't think.
No, Angus has had a little bit of a break from the competitions. He's settling down in Blenheim. He's contracting down there and got a family, and great to see him back up here. He's very, very good merino shearer, and actually very good shearer on all sorts of sheep.
Yeah, he's just a really nice guy too, and Rātapu, his wife, is here, and their tribe of beautiful children. Really cool to have them back up here.
Yeah, I was when I came in yesterday, Mavis, they was lined up at the doorway behind them, and I said to Angus, I said, there's going to be no room for anyone else to sit down after you take your family in there.
No, they're very proud, beautiful parents, and Nathan Stratford, he doesn't need too much of an introduction at all, really, does he?
No, he would be the, he's the multi-task shearer in New Zealand. He can shear all breeds. Does really, really well at Alexander every year. Waimate, Christchurch.
He's been around a long time, Nathan, hasn't he?
He has. And I actually got a fright yesterday when someone told me his age. But I won't say how old you are, Nathan. You're not as old as me, but to see you at your age up there just doing what you're doing is absolutely amazing.
And again, many times in this hall, I recall sitting next to his mum and dad as they'd be there taking all the scores, and they were the biggest fan club. He certainly had all the support he needed coming through the ranks, so he deserves his place in here, absolutely.
Yeah, he's great with the younger shearers too, Nathan. He's got, if anyone wants any advice on gear or anything, he's the guy that would really help you out.
Oh, it's good to know those things. It's good to know, because for some of these young people coming through, who possibly don't have a big support system around them, it's nice to know that they can go to some of the, anyone. Who can I talk to? Who can
Yeah, well,
help?
it's pretty much all the open shearers. They'll pass on their knowledge. It's don't be afraid to go and ask them. I know when I was just a young kid, you were really intimidated, and you used to look up the likes of Jack Dowd, Ricky Pivac, Martin Nartaki, and those guys, and and they were only too happy to offer you some advice.
Yeah. Oh,
I didn't always listen, but I tried to take a little bit of it on board.
Yeah, well, I guess that's the thing. You ask for the advice, you get it, and you might take some and might not take other bits. Angus looks like he's having a lovely shear there.
Yeah, he's got a nice big merino there. They're in beautiful order, those merinos. Alan's done a fantastic job, all right?
Yeah, he does do a great job.
So Angus has just finished his merinos. I think they shore 3 merinos. So
Yes.
what's he gonna? He's done a shear
Full wool
now.
Yep, and I think they finish on their second shear.
So Wairarapa's into his second shear as well.
Wow, look at Aaron.
Nathan's just pulled out his there. So there we go. We've got the graphics coming up, and
Yeah.
Aaron Haynes, fantastic, and same as Nathan.
So these scores are being shown without the time. So this is just their board points that we're seeing at the moment, but it gives a good indicator.
Yep. Boards will be a little bit higher than on the crossbreds. A few more second cuts to come off the merinos. A little bit harder to keep your comb flat on the skin.
What's your preference, Digger? What do you like best? Full wool, second shear, lambs? What's your preference?
Probably lambs now. Just not so hard on the body. But when I was younger, you couldn't beat a really nice full wool shearing sheep.
Yeah.
I used to go down south and work for the likes of Peter Lyons and Stephen Dodds, and just used to love the full wool.
Oh, Nathan's having a good time with that.
Yeah, he's in for another long wool, so
Yeah.
he'll be at home on his long wool because that's pretty much
That's his stuff, isn't it?
yeah, that's what they shear down around in Invercargill
Yeah.
in the Southland area.
I notice he's strapped. Did you see the shoulder strapping?
Yeah,
And Pagan was strapped like something similar last night as well.
yeah, and I saw Leon Samuels has been strapped up. I'm just wondering whether they've got the same physio and they're got a few little aches and pains.
No, well, Pagan was saying it was more around a preventative, around a blood flow thing, and I was thinking, wow, isn't it cool that all the sports science that's out there gets applied even in here, and so it should be. I mean, we are a professional sporting body. We are athletes, and it kind of makes sense. But when you first see it, you kind of go, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, it is. No, it's interesting now that you say that, Mavis. Maybe we might see more of it in future because it's certainly a pretty demanding job.
Yeah.
Demanding sport.
He must be nearly on to his last full wool, is he?
Yeah, last full wool for Nathan. I think Angus has got his last full wool. So they've got 9 to shear, three merinos, 3 long wool and 3 second shear.
Yep, that's right. So they're all on to their 6th now. So they'll all be heading into their last full wool.
So we've got the graphics coming up for the time and board, and just looking at Wairarapa, he is right on the average with everything.
Yep. Yeah, well, in this game you've got to be a little bit better than the average, don't you, really?
Well, you do, yep.
Yep.
So it's going to come down to the outside jobs.
Yes.
Especially with the merinos, you can just lose so many faults, so many points outside.
Yep. Yeah, they look round and just a little bit niggly, these girls.
Young Aaron Haynes there, I think he did 700 on on lambs, earlier in the year.
Yeah, unofficial personal best.
Yeah, just a PB.
Yeah.
Great to see.
Oh, just crazy where these numbers are going. But, if anyone can do that stuff, I mean, look at the physique of Aaron. He's kind of really, you think about the Snow Quins and that, the tall, long reach. You used to be like that, Digger.
Oh, not quite as well built as Aaron. I don't think. I think Aaron's got a pretty good gym program going there.
Yeah. What do they say? He's got muscles on muscles.
That's right. But now they're all top fit sportsmen.
Yeah.
At the top of their game. Jack Fagan down there on stand 1. His board's just a little bit high. Probably the Merinos maybe let him down just a little bit. So
yeah,
he'll be hoping that he's done a good job on them and he's getting into his full wall. This will be a little bit more at home for him.
Yeah, yeah. And then once they get to the second chair, there's that kind of like downhill, home stretch.
Yep.
That's when the horse just goes.
Yep. Hemi's looks like Hemi's onto his second chair now.
Yep.
So he's right up. His board, Hemi's board's a little bit high. Again,
Yes.
Probably just hasn't quite got the experience on the fine wall.
Oh, that's combing well. Look at that. Nice.
Hopefully he can do it, bring it home for Ekatahuna.
Yeah, the Braddocks have done well. There's a lot of families that have done so bloomin' well here. It's just beautiful to see. Lovely. We're just going to get something sorted with this wool price, that's all.
Tell me, Mavis, do the wool handlers get paid here at Golden Shears? You know, all the ladies up the front there?
Do you know what? This is voluntary.
Yeah?
This is voluntary. And they take so much pride in their role at Golden Shears doing this. No, everyone's a volunteer here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I suppose there's a waiting list to get up there and become a wool handler at the Golden Shears.
Oh, you have to kind of qualify.
Yeah.
you gotta go through the ranks. You don't just get the call. You've got to, I think, as I said to you before, Nanny Hinado Mason, it all stemmed from there. The Nida sisters, Auntie Sally and Auntie Nolene were here last night. They were two of our last remaining of that era. Auntie Rewa Walker. And these are all their kids and their nieces. So, they take great pride in that sort of stuff. It's lovely. That's part of the heartbeat of Golden Shears. But look at Nathan, look at his board.
Oh,
he'll be happy.
He's having a fantastic shear. He's right on the pace with his time. His board is very, very low.
Yeah, look at those totals. So between him and Aaron Haynes, they're probably feeling reasonably comfortable as long as their outside job's up to spec, eh?
Yeah, you'd have to think that those two will be two for the final.
Yeah.
There goes Nathan, he's just switched off. Yeah, so he's on 20 faults without the outside being in. So, yeah, it's...
And great experience for these guys. Awesome, Hemi. They work hard, eh? They got big tickers. They got big hearts. We'll have to ask Russell Knight to move his head next time.
There
Thank
he
you,
goes.
Russell.
Yeah,
He heard.
Yeah,
He heard.
Good on you, Russell. Yep. As long as his puku doesn't get in the way.
They do a great job, these judges. Them too, they're all volunteers.
All volunteers, yep.
Yeah.
But it, be the pinnacle of your judging career to judge down at Masterton.
Oh, these big shows, there's just something magical about it all.
Great honour to come down and be a judge, and they can be out the back during the breaks and tell a few stories, and
Yeah.
there's Alan Precious there.
Yeah.
Alan's been around for a long, long time.
Yes, he's a kind of an assist for Ronnie King, who is the chief referee. He's kind of his number 2 man who works with him and helps him out. It's a big responsibility. It's a big job.
Yep, there's a few things happen and they've got to make a ruling on it.
Yeah.
And, it's great to have the experience of Alan there, passing it on to Ronnie.
That's right. So that's the first heat. The first heat.
So I wonder if they'll give us some points for that, or...
I think they'll keep them secret.
Keep them secret.
Well, we didn't get the pair, and
No.
hang on, maybe I'm jumping the gun a bit. We've got
Well, I'll pick Nathan and Aaron to qualify out of that first round.
Nathan and Aaron. Yep.
Yeah, and I'll sit on the fence for the rest of them.
Oh,
'cause there's some
now,
pretty
how
good-
fair is that? Oh, geez, come
Some
on.
pretty good shearers coming up in that second heat, Mavis. I know
right.
Johnny Kirkpatrick.
Holding
Troy,
your cards close.
Yeah,
Let's just
yeah.
wait.
Troy Piper.
Yeah. Troy's been shearing well.
He has. really, really well.
Yeah. So what we'll do now is we might just head to the stadium and just let these guys prepare, and then we'll come back for the start of the next heat, Digger.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Just noticing these new fadge holders that the committee have acquired this year, Norm. What happened to our sponsor? I just can't remember his name, but they are working extremely well. You notice how they just fold away and lie down like that, ready to be resurrected again when we need them as for the change of wool. So that's a brilliant idea, and we must find that bit of paper.
Working really well. I just can't remember what they're called now. Someone will tell us. We had it here before, but pretty clever stuff, all right? So Troy Piper, big name from the South Island, and a fantastic multi-breed shearer. We know how good this guy is on merinos. We know how good he is on crossbreeds as well. He'll be one to watch, I think. Johnny Kay, always a threat. Doesn't matter what you're shearing. If he's got a handpiece in his hand, John, he's a major threat. Young Brett Roberts from Matota, well, he's in his sort of second or third season of doing really well, and he's just getting better and better every season, so he's a strong contender. And through from Pleasant Point.
All right, so we're back. They're just about ready to kick off, Digger. But before they do, take us through as you do.
Yeah, the second heat, or the second semi-final for the PGG National Circuit. Troy Piper on one from North Canterbury. Winton originally, but Amberley. Amberley, so people in Amberley will be watching. Johnny Kirkpatrick from Napier.
Captain of the Enterprise.
Yeah, he's former, I think he's won this a couple of times, Johnny.
Yeah.
Young Brett Roberts from Matara.
Has he done this much, Brett? Has he been into the PGG?
I don't think Brett's qualified for the semis. He may have, correct me if I'm wrong, but hi to everyone down in Matara there. They'll be watching Brett with a lot of interest. Ant Frew from Pleasant Point. Young Ant, he's a good shearer, this guy. He's big future for him too. David Buick from Pongaroa.
Yep, and Pongaroa will be all out there with the flags too. Don't worry about them.
They got power out there, Mavis.
Oh, jeez, Digger. Hey? You got to get us into trouble.
And Ringakahi Pawai from Gore.
Yep, Ringer, neat. Neat to see these young ones coming through.
So what relation is Ringer to you, Mavis?
He is a nephew.
Nephew, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, our fathers, my father, his grandfather were brothers.
Oh, you better try not to be too biased towards him,
Oh, not at all. No. He knows where I sit.
But I'll tell you what, he'll get around these merinos pretty well.
He's doing well, Ringer. And I'm just looking, you and I are pretty useless actually, because I'm thinking how many of these guys are newbies to this PGG, and you said before you didn't think Brett had been here before. What about Ant?
Yeah, Ant's, I'm sure Ant's has been in the PGG before.
David has.
David's been there. I don't know if Ant or David have ever made the final, but they've probably shown the semi-finals here, and so they'll be using that experience. Brett, love to see Brett make their final tonight.
Yeah. Oh well, he's
great young shearer from down there in Matara.
Yes. Yep, and he's done well. He's come up through the ranks. He's hung in there. He's applied himself. He's a neat young man.
You know what, Mavis? I reckon shearing's quite unique. You've got every body type.
Yeah.
You've got big people, small people, people that are
Tall.
slightly bigger than others.
Yeah.
Remember little James Fagan, how little he was, and he used to get these big merino weathers out and
smash them out, didn't he?
Yeah, smash them out completely. He was about 4'12".
Yeah.
Gee.
No, there's something for everyone, and I guess that's the whole thing around technique. Your technique as designed for your body, eh?
Yep. They used to say rugby was a sport for everyone, but rugby's changing now. You've just got to be big and strong, and but shearing, we cater for everyone.
Yeah. Yep. No, well, they're away, and it always feels a bit like a ease in when we start with the merinos, because they are just a little bit more, you feel like you have to think a little bit, just be a little bit more relaxed and
Yeah,
all of that.
there's nothing worse when you get up there to shear your merinos. The few that I've done, you get up there and you just try to go flat out. It doesn't really work. You've just got to get up there and just ease into them, just flatten your hand and let your handpiece and comb do the work. So you just look at those two there. There's Troy Piper and Johnny. They don't seem to be rushing. Just letting Johnny especially, look at that, just really just guiding that handpiece nice and slowly around the sheep.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's almost like a level of gentleness. I know guys don't probably see it like that, but when you see it happening, it's kind of like you just got to be calm, a little bit more gentle, a little bit more quieter in your approach.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think when the New Zealanders shear the merinos, they seem to be just taking their time. But you watch the Australian boys, Shannon Warnest and Jason Wingfield, they absolutely just smash their hand into the sheep. And, big Shannon Warnest, I used to love watching him go up that neck and then he'd just break it out and he's shorn half the sheep.
No, he's one of a kind, Shannon. One of a kind.
So the merinos, they're probably taking, what are they taking, close to 3 minutes to shear these merinos, maybe 2.5. So I just watching Brett Roberts. Yep.
Awesome tamoko there. Awesome.
Oh, it's really standing out this morning under the lights, isn't it?
Looks awesome. It's beautiful.
No doubt that's got some meaning to him.
Yep, he'll have a story.
Yep.
But look at that, that board, as the red gets more, he's going further to the green. So, he's keeping his board right.
Yep, he's good board for him. No doubt Brett would have been up in Central Otago during the prelim, and he'd be doing a few seasons up there. Probably up working for Peter Lyons or someone up there, and doing all those merinos up through Central.
And so here's Ant. He would be familiar with the merinos, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'd do a lot around the Canterbury area. I think Ants is one of those guys that can sort of shear any breed of sheep. They just get so many different breeds through there, the half-breeds, the merinos, crossbreds, all sorts.
Bit of a view with Johnny there as well.
Yeah, still looking at Ant's board.
Yeah.
Really, really low board. David Buick down there on stand 5. David's got a high board, and David probably doesn't shear. I would say of all the shearers up there in this top 12, he's probably does the least merino shearing.
Yes, I think you'd be dead right with that.
I don't think he goes. I don't think David does a pre-lamb. I know he went to the UK last year and sure for the New Zealand team over there. And he's got his own run out Pongaroa, so
and a farm.
And a farm, yeah.
And a family.
Yeah. And his young boys playing rugby and at school here at Rathgill, so David will be no doubt trying to watch him as much as he can.
Yeah, that's right. But no, and like you said, it kind of shows the experience that you have on these merinos. You can't fake this stuff, can you? You can't just get in and...
Not with these real McCoy weathers that they bring up, that Alan Patterson sends up from down there in Central Otago. It's a bit different. You get a merino ewe, and if they're pretty straight, you can fake your way through if you haven't shorn too many.
Yeah.
But when you get these big weathers with all the wrinkles,
Ringer's doing pretty good.
You've got to know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yep.
So Ringer's they've put the outsides up on this one. So Ringer's first sheep went out, and he must have had a very, very clean first merino, which will be good for him. And his board's pretty good, and he's below the average.
Yep. So he's obviously doing a lot more down there based in Gore, but there's a lot more crossbred down in Gore, isn't there?
Yeah, these boys that have to travel up, as I said, up to Central, but it's not far from Gore up to Queenstown and Cromwell and that. It's only 2-hour drive.
Yeah, close to home. Good share ringer.
Not too far from the family, be able to get back and see the kids at the weekend or something like that.
Yeah, yep.
Brett Roberts, one of my favourites, Brett, good young fella. I just like the way, real positive attitude, and he just chucks the handpiece in. Really good at the speed shears. Brett's coming up to the Rural Games next Sunday, so...
Cool. So Rural Games Sunday, Palmerston North.
That's right, yep. They're having a speed shear there, and I've been lucky enough to get an invite. So,
still got it, eh, Digger? Still got it.
I'll try and keep these young fellas honest.
That's the one.
But, the likes of Brett and Jack Fagan and Jimmy Samuels, they take some beating.
Yep. Oh, no, you stay hanging there.
So there we go with our graphics again, and just looking at Ringapawe. He's, you'd say Ringa or Antfru doing the best, but it's early days. They've only got probably 2 sheep judged.
Yeah.
But it's certainly...
Ant, Johnny, Brett, they were all sort of hanging around there.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot on it.
No. I think it's a good place to be, just hanging around that top edge before they get into that, as they move off the merinos.
Yeah, well, they know they've got to do the job on the merinos. You can just lose so many points on them out the back. Like a crossbred, you normally range from a 3 to a sort of a 10 with a crossbred. But with a merino, you can go anywhere from a 15 up to 100. So it's just a bigger range because there's so much more wool and so many more faults to leave on.
Yeah. So the merinos are softer skin. They're softer in the skin. So does that mean you have to have a lighter hand when you're shearing them, or not really, or?
It's probably more what they call a flat hand. You want your hand flat. So your comb's hitting the skin flat, not tipped up on its points.
Yes.
With crossbreds, you sort of tip your hand up a little bit more.
Yeah.
Brett's just going to go in for his first long wall. So he's doing pretty well, Brett. Good pen.
Very good pen.
Slightly below the average. He'll love these full wool.
Yeah.
Plenty of full wool down around Matara.
Yeah, they get onto these and that must be like, whew, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby, let's go.
Hey, yeah, we've got that rubbish out of the way, and just look at big Brett just charking that steel at them now.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, Neil Fagan.
Yep, anything gets run over from now on, and I'm meaning business.
Yeah, so we're just looking at Johnny. He's coming down the last side on his merino. No, that's Antfru, sorry.
No, I think that.
No, who's?
It looks like
David
Johnny.
David Buick, sorry. So he's still finishing his merinos. So Brett's almost going to be 1 sheep in front of him. So
it is Dave, yeah.
Dave will be really, really glad to get rid of the merinos. So he'll be a little bit more at home on these full wool.
Yeah, he's done his job. Now he can sort of relax and just glide into this stuff.
Yep. So
let it happen.
David's got a high board at the moment, so he'll be hoping to pull that back on the crossbreds, which no doubt he will. Ringapawe. How's Ringa doing? He's got a good pen. He's obviously shearing those merinos really well, getting a good job.
Yes.
But with a name like Pawe, they
what?
Synonymous with the merino shearing, great fine wool shearers.
Yeah, Joseph certainly loved the merino, and Ringer and a couple of other cousins and nephews have done pretty well down there, but most of them have hung around the North Island.
Yeah, didn't want to leave home, eh? But some people just go down and they start shearing the merinos and they just love them. They're not as heavy, not as physical as the crossbreds, and they just take to them and love them.
You don't have to work so hard. Would that be right or not?
Yeah,
really?
No, that'd be right, Mavis. It's more sort of technique and getting your gear right, and but then you get the likes of Johnny Kirkpatrick, Troy Piper. They just they'll shear anything.
Yeah,
doesn't matter what. Just give it to me, and we'll do it.
He's a very physical shearer, Troy, isn't he? When I just watching him and Johnny there. Johnny's quite still.
Yep.
Whereas Troy is really He really is physical with
Yeah,
it.
well, everyone's got their own technique. Some people just move their body a little bit more than others. It's just the way that they've been taught, or just whatever's comfortable for them. But in the end, they all get the same end result.
Yep, yep. I guess the big thing is to get that end result with the less amount of exertion as possible.
Yeah. Well, they talk about David Buick being the Iceman. You know, he just does not move, and you can see David down there.
Yes.
On stand 5. You just watch his head and his shoulders; they hardly move. It's all from the arm. And you know, I suppose if a young fellow was coming through and you wanted to model yourself on someone, you know, like David Buick or Roland Smith would be probably the guys to model yourself on.
Oh, that's some pearls of wisdom, Digger. Awesome to hear that for these young people, because often you don't know. You know, you just see a shearer and you like what you see, but to actually be quite specific or purposeful about, okay, so that's it. That's a good way to think about it and look at it. There's some good advice.
Yeah, back on Johnny Kirkpatrick now. He's got his second shear out, so Johnny, this will be Johnny's favourite type of sheep out of the. Although Johnny would really like the full wool. He's shorn a lot of full wool sheep, and I've shorn with him in the shed on some full wool, and he can really get around them quick. But yeah, probably at the moment he'd be really at home on his second shear.
Yeah.
No doubt Rayleen's down there somewhere screaming out, "Come on, Johnny, get your A into G."
Oh, I think she's got the babies.
Oh, she's on a babysitting today?
I don't know. I saw her yesterday outside with the babies, so just what good grandmas do.
Yep.
Good nans.
Yeah, well, Ricky and Angela have been pretty busy.
Yeah.
You know, with the wool handling and Ricky unpressing, and I think they were both in the pressing. And that was quite funny because they worked in the pairs together, Ricky and Angela, and Ricky said to me they missed out on making the final, and it was his fault because he didn't put enough wool in the wool press, and Angela told him to put more in, and he said, no, we've got enough in there.
It's enough.
And hey, they missed out, and if he'd put another armful of wool in, they would have made their final.
Oh, well, Ricky, you know, you got to listen to the other half sometimes. Well, here's Troy. Look at that pen. Wow. You'd be happy with that. Doing a great job outside.
Oh, is he?
Not bad on
Fantastic.
the board.
Look at his total. He must be one of the leaders in this. Here we go to the Troy's clearly leading this this heat.
Yes.
Troy, Brett Roberts, Ant Frew, then back to Johnny.
Some of those young fellas.
So you've got David and Ringer just up a little bit. So that can all change on the second shear.
Just great to watch.
You can watch it for. I just watched it for days on end. It's just fantastic. Troy Piper is having a great shear. Look at that pen, 6.9. You have to have the cleanest pen outside.
Yeah, he'd be stoked with that. There's Johnny's.
Yeah, he's just up a little bit, Johnny.
The average outside must be, you know, I mean, he's pretty low, but then it's a 10 out there, so, you know, you're sort of thinking, okay. But then includes all the
merinos.
All the merinos.
So, you know, they could have been scoring 20s to 30s on their merinos, which is still a fairly well shorn merino.
Yes. God, it looks frenetic.
Well, it does get a little bit more frantic when they hit the second shear. They can really start moving that arm. And look at Corny Roberts in the middle there.
All right, so this is their last sheep. They're on to their last one.
Johnny's finished. Troy Piper's finished. Brett Roberts, a couple more blows to go for him.
Yeah. Look at that reach. Awesome.
There goes Brett. And through. He might have one left in the pen, I think, Ant.
Ringer's got one left in the pen. Her man, Ant.
So just looking at those scores, we could have Troy, Brett, and Johnny maybe go through out of that one.
Yep. I think you've got got it pretty much nailed there. There's room for one more from your predictions.
Oh,
I'm not brave enough, really.
I'll have to sit on the fence for that one, I think.
I don't like the way you play this game. Sitting on the fence. Oh, well, we're getting to the end of the second last heat.
Just waiting for Antfru and Ringapawai. They've got half a sheep left to share.
Yeah, and you know, there's no shame in being last off in this company, is there, Digger?
Oh no, sometimes it's just the merinos. You know, you get one that's not quite as good a shearing as the others, and you just get bogged down, and you can just lose quite a bit of time on it.
Yeah. And then what you were talking about earlier around the gear, you know, just one selection of your gear that's just not quite on.
You get one shot at it and you put the wrong comb on, it's just too thin or it's just too round
Ringer's
or too
finished.
thick, and hey, you can't do anything about it. You
just got to make the best of it.
Yep.
Oh, what a great shear. What a great shear.
So there we go, we've got Brett's totals in, he's on 57.2.
Yeah,
So I'd say Brett will be in the final.
definitely.
David Buick 65.2. Unfortunately, that might be a little bit high, David, and all the family out at Pongaroa. But David's got he's got the top 12 coming up later on in the open shearing. And he was qualified a little bit low last night, so...
Yeah, not like him, because he's normally at that top end too.
He was down in about 10th or 11th place.
Yeah.
So maybe just a kicker. We got Johnny on 60.1 and Antfru 61.7, so we'll just have to wait till they put up the...
Yeah, I don't
Give us the
recall
top. Give
the
us the
top.
top. They might put it up in a minute. We can have a look at it. So those girls be busy keeping all that fine wool separate, Mavis, because they won't want to mix it up with the crossbred wool, will they?
No, heck no. And, you know, there's a lot of attention, and you don't see it, but the number of different baskets and fadges and fadges, so you just pull this one out and it's all ready for the next one. You know, there's a lot of thought that goes into everything that happens here. Nothing happens by accident. And
do they have a boss? Is there a boss?
They do have a boss. Yeah, they've got a GM.
Okay.
They've got a GM.
You don't? General manager. Is
A
it?
general manager, Missy Paku
okay.
is the general manager, and I had to talk to some of the girls about something, and they said, "Oh, well, I better just go and talk." Oh, yep, get the hierarchy right.
Okay.
You don't want to muck around with them, but they, like I say, the crew that moves all the wool and the boys out the back, the pressers, the truckies, the penmen, there's just amazing group of volunteers that, you know, do this because they love it. It's fun. I think to myself, gosh, we've got to get a real life sometime, but I keep coming back.
Yeah, well, it's the same as me, Mavis. I don't know how many years I've been coming down, but it's just like an annual holiday.
It is.
You know, you pack the car up, and I know the kids have been looking forward to it and come down every year.
Yeah.
And it's great, you know. And whether you do well or not, it's not really part of it. It's just being here and seeing all your friends and everyone else, and being part of the occasion.
Yeah, you're right. It's there's something magical, and we're very lucky to be a big part of that. So while we're waiting, we're still waiting for these some of these results. Digger, your boy's been playing pretty well. I noticed you got the colours on and all. You're not shy, are you?
Oh no, I was lucky enough. I got a few hand-me-downs from Josh at Christmas, so supporting the mighty Waikato. He's had a game for Waikato in the pre-season, and then he unfortunately got injured, but he's back now, and he's over in Napier today, playing in the Splain Cup, which is the Maris tournament for the Maris teams in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So he's working away slowly. He's trying to get a Mitre 10 contract, but whether he does or not this year, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But he came down and shore down here years ago, Mavis, when he was a kid, and he won the novice.
He did.
Many years ago, but well, not that many years ago. He's 21 now. I think he won it when he was 13, so 8 years ago.
Very cool. I have great pleasure, you know, because I'm in the kind of rugby circles myself. I have great pleasure when I'm able to tell people that Sarah Hedawini is a Golden Shears